So this is pretty much just going to be the wrap-up recap for Tyson Paul 1, and then we'll move on, get back into our other sports that are more pressing anyways, and we'll put Tyson versus Paul 2 on the back burner until some developments arise, right? Now, as far as what did we want? Obviously, we wanted a split decision win for Jake Paul. We got a unanimous decision win for Jake Paul. Coach overreacted about how mad he was. That was totally acceptable, right? There were outcomes we absolutely could not take. Obviously, well, even though we had Jake Paul winning, we absolutely did not want him to win by knockout, and we did not want him to even knock down Mike Tyson, right? Now, we would have, even though we had Jake winning, we would have rather seen Tyson knock Paul out than Paul knock Tyson out, right? The only absolute unacceptable was Tyson just getting finished, right? Even a TKO, something like that, just couldn't happen, right? So we're glad we didn't get that. He went the distance. He proved he is still a competent fighter to an extent, right? He didn't look like a threat, but he can hold his own and go the distance. That's way more than most 58-year-old men can say, right? So why, if you watch this fight and you're like, how could he possibly bounce back, become heavyweight champion by defeating Tyson Fury? I'll tell you now. First of all, this Tyson you saw, no, he can't do that. I already told you it was going to be a different Tyson after this fight. He's going to get Evander Holyfield coaching him up, right? So that's going to be a big difference. The other big difference is he's not going to be nursing an injury. Look at this. Sparks injury speculation. Latest photo ahead of Jake Paul clash. There was very obviously something wrong with either his knee or something in the lower extremity area, right? Like he could not move properly. He looked absolutely, he didn't look like an old Mike Tyson. He looked like an old injured Mike Tyson, right? Like somebody took the Nancy Kerrigan, just Tanya Hardinged him, right? I mean, hit him with the lead pipe. So, yeah, he just couldn't move, right? Now, why was that so devastating for Tyson this matchup? Why will that one not happen? And even if it did happen, would not be nearly as big of a deal in the second matchup, right? So the reason, even if it did happen again, it wouldn't be as big of a deal in the second matchup. We're assuming they're going to go with a regular size ring because this ring was clownish, right? They're going to want to force the action more. They want more of a thriller, right? They're not just going to let Jake run all around again. That was lame, right? So Tyson had no way to cut off the angles, all that sort of stuff. Like there was just way too much space. You could see like even if it was like two like regular in shape guys or whatever, like this just isn't a ring that's set to dictate action, right? Like it's you can just move, like never have to go anywhere near each other. There's just so much space to get away, right? Like it's exactly what Tyson doesn't want. So first of all, just naturally against Tyson's style, the ring itself. Now the leg injury hindering Tyson's ability, it was so devastating for Tyson specifically because Tyson obviously relies on knockout power and he is not an arm puncher, right? He generates the power with his legs. That's why you've always seen those famous like lunging hooks, like overhand hooks, all that sort of stuff. Where he's cutting off the ring, he's striking like a rattlesnake. You think he's out of range. He makes up for his short reach by striking quick, closing the distance, and just obliterating you, right? And he's able to do that because he can get his feet into the ground and lunge, right? He's really good beyond the balls of his feet, right? And he can move, right? Tyson could not move, right? That was the story. That's what you could see, right? So obviously, like so why the lunging, all that sort of stuff? Like why is this specifically kryptonite for Tyson? Tyson runs the peekaboo style. And for the longest time, in fact, until Tyson came around, the peekaboo style was considered a boxing style that was not capable of being able to generate knockout power, at least not like true knockout power, right? Now, Cuss never bought that narrative, right? He wanted to find his guy who could perfect it and be a knockout artist, right? That's why him and Tyson were lightning in a bottle, right? And that's why Tyson is the true unicorn of all of boxing. I can't think of a more unique fighter than Tyson, specifically for this reason, right? He's the only peekaboo boxer ever that's had just true devastating one-punch knockout power, right? So like that, and like I said, all of it comes from the legs. So if he can't lunge, he can't generate power, he's worthless out there. He can't do anything. He's just standing there waiting to get punched the whole time. So yeah, this Tyson can't do anything. But Tyson with a good leg, Evander Holyfield in the corner, that's a whole different. In a smaller ring, that's a completely different ball game. That's a fight I'll watch. So just saying.